What's up, agents? Patrick Wolf here. Welcome to another Division 2 build video. Today's video is going to be quite a special one. I will be showcasing two variants of a build. One will be for solo play and the other build will be for group play. Now, in the gameplay, the first set of gameplay, you will be seeing the first original build, which is best playing solo. Now, the reason why I made two builds is because this build utilizes Negotiator's Dilemma and high amounts of explosive damage through expendable skills like the explosive trap, sticky bomb, mortar turret if you would like, and especially seeker mines. So what would happen was you would hit over 400k a crit, dish out damage to multiple enemies, and because we are utilizing Negotiator's Dilemma, the backpack talent calculated would give us 10% decreased cooldowns every single time we get a kill. Now, when you're shooting, you could mark 3 enemies, and then you would kill the final guy, and which would in turn, more likely than not, if you're focusing the tank, would actually lower your skill cooldowns by 30% by shooting one NPC. It was so ridiculously strong, and it works great, but only solo. Now, you can utilize this build in group situations, but because the backpack talent is mitigated through your teammates killing the NPCs, it's not as good because you won't be able to utilize your skills as much, especially expendable skills, which take full utilization or make full use of the calculated backpack talent. Now, the second bit of gameplay you will be seeing will be utilizing a different chest piece, talent piece, and the holster. And we're going to be obviously using the backpack for Negotiator's Dilemma, which takes the damage up to 100% shared between the NPCs. So hopefully you do enjoy these two builds. Like I said, the first bit of gameplay will be the one where the original build where it's best solo, and the second bit you will see that the buffs will change. I'll be using turrets with the second build because it works better with teammates. Now, the secondary build is going to be very strong because we will have the exotic holster, the backpack, which gives us more spread damage with our weapon, because this is by no means a skill builds. These two builds can dish out some of the highest amount of damage I have seen when I did a mission. It's one of the best PvE builds I've used in TU12, and you definitely need to give this a try. It's really fun to use as well, and extremely potent in both situations, whether you want to play solo or in a team. And I think the way that I changed it up, it is the best way to benefit from the talents, not having teammates taking the kills from you, which obviously isn't a bad thing, but it just makes sense. So enjoy the gameplay, and we'll get into the explanations. I will showcase both builds after you watch the gameplay.
Serious trauma detected. Agent down.
Right, so let's get straight into these build videos. The first one, like I said, is going to be more suited towards solo play. Now, these builds are both PvE builds. Let's get straight into the first one so I can explain how it works. So we have got One Piece Channel Light to give us extra explosive damage, and Fenris to give us a lot of weapon damage. This is going to be great for people who still want to dish out lots of weapon damage, damage multiple enemies at once with their weapon, full-on shooting, and then you have these very powerful explosive skills that the cooldown is reduced by quite a substantial amount. Like I was saying in the gameplay you guys saw, if you can mark 3 NPCs, you can actually reduce your cooldowns by 30% per kill, which is really, really good. So this is all about spamming explosive skills and dishing out huge amounts of damage with the Negotiator's Dilemma gear set. Now let's go through the specialization before we get into the detail. So we have got the Technician. Now it's important to take note that if you want to use the Mortar Turret, which doesn't really utilize calculated very well for the skill itself, because this doesn't count as an expendable skill, it's just how long the turret is up for. Now the Shrapnel Trap is not something I use all the time, because I prefer to use the Sticky Bomb, because when you throw the Shrapnel Trap, when you get kills with your other skills or with your weapon, Calculated does not proc for it until you manually destroy it. Because as long as there's 1 or 2 mines on the floor, it will not actually regen or get the stacks back, or should I say the actual explosives back into the Shrapnel Trap. So you actually have to manually destroy it, which can be a pain, but it's very good to defend yourself against NPCs, especially when they push you, those pesky shotgunners. So let's have a look at Demolitionist. You're probably wondering why I don't use this. You can use it if you would like, it's completely up to you. You do get 10% increased explosive damage, but because I'm not using the mortar, I don't really need that, because we get 10% damage just from having an extra skill tier from the Technician specialization, and another 10% from one of the perks that you can unlock. So it's up to you whether or not you want to go for that, but I've gone for Technician and I recommend going for this. So we have Overclock CPU, which gives us 10% skill damage, and then again another skill tier. This is also good because we get 12% damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics, which is extremely potent. Why? Because a lot of times when you're fighting with Negotiator's Dilemma, if you guys know how to utilize it correctly, you would mark all of the weaker NPCs and then focus on the tankier ones, like the robot dogs and things like that. This will help you take them down quicker and kill all the NPCs around them, which is why Negotiator's Dilemma is so good, especially when you're playing solo. So we have everything activated here. Obviously, make sure you guys do. I see a lot of people not actually activating this. Make sure you guys have it activated. Now, assault rifles are what we're going to be utilizing. So once you have decided on your specialization, like I said, technician is probably the best way to go. Let's go through the build. So 4-piece Negotiator's Dilemma with 1-piece China Light for the extra explosive damage. Like I said, expendable skills. I would say the explosives are probably the best way to utilize it. So let's have a look at the weapon. So we have got 1 blue. Now you could definitely go for all red and 1 yellow, or 2 yellows, the rest red. It's completely up to you. Like I said, my builds are always templates for you guys to work upon, change them to adapt to suit your own playstyles. So we have got 913k armor, just under 1 million, because I wanted to be a bit more tanky. So we have got the capacitor assault rifle. If you guys don't have this, go to the summit and do a couple of challenges. It only takes like 15 minutes. So we've got AR damage, damaged armor, and health damage as it rolls natively. Capacitance. So we get up to 60% skill damage, which is really, really nice. And for the yellow, it counts towards having weapon damage, which is very nice. We get 7.5% weapon damage for that skill tier, which is really, really good. Now, keep in mind that we have got 2, which is very nice. So make sure you guys utilize this. It's very good. And the best part about this weapon is because it's like it was designed for this build, because we have got 10% crit chance and 30% crit damage, and then some weapon handling, which is accuracy, stability, swap speed, and reload speed, which is always good. So secondary weapon is completely up to you. Mechanical animal, damage targets out of cover with future perfection. This grants us overcharge, which is very, very nice. So we will have 3, 4, 5, up to skill tier 5. Like I said, if you want to go all the way to 6, you can do that. No problem at all. It depends, what kind of player you are. Like I said, this build can go many ways. You could have all yellows. It's really, really up to you. I think I have it the right way around. I got 1 blue, 1 yellow, just to be a bit tankier. But to be honest, you probably shouldn't even have this blue. But the nice thing is I can roll it away for whatever I want. But like I said before, when I showcase these builds, I want to give you as many ideas as I possibly can. I don't just want you to go and copy what I use, because sometimes I change my builds up all the time. It's just dependent on how I'm feeling. Maybe I want to just chill a bit more and let my skills do the work, so I'll slap on a yellow there. It's really up to you. So the pistol card custom, the reason why I have this now, roll away Sadist and put something like, you can put in Zinc or something that gives you skill damage. It's completely up to you. I don't really use it too much. It's only when I'm in trouble and I'm getting flanked and I need my skills to do the damage, I will just pull this out. It gives me an extra skill tier, which does more damage as well with our explosives. So it's a really good option to have that in case you need it. So let's go through the pieces now. So we've got 4-piece Negotiator's Dilemma. We'll go through that first, and then the chest piece and the backpack. Now, the backpack is good for Negotiators. It takes the damage up to 100%, I think from 60, which is a big step up. But that's going to be for the second variant, don't you worry. So the 4-piece, which is very, very nice, we get 15% crit chance, the 2, the 3, 20% crit damage in the 4-piece. Critical hits mark enemies. You see this mark, then you know that they are marked. Up to 3 marks total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. Now the backpack takes us to 100, but I will showcase that in a second. Whenever a marked enemy dies, you actually gain 2% crit damage, stacking up to 20 times. So that's very, very good. So that's 40% critical hit damage, which is really, really strong. So when we look at our armor value on this mask, like I said, changes to whatever you want. Crit chance and crit damage are your best friends with this build. So we want to roll on the attributes crit chance, get our crit chance as high as we can to 60%, as close to 60 as possible, and then our crit damage, as high as we can. So all the modifications I've put on this build are critical hit damage mods. It's completely up to you whether or not you have really good ones or you need extra crit chance because maybe your Negotiator's Dilemma pieces aren't as good. Holster, once again, we've got crit chance, weapon damage, gloves, crit chance, weapon damage, knee pads, we got crit chance, weapon damage. I can also reroll these knee pads if I would like to. I'll probably do a bit more testing and see how I feel. So the chest piece is going to be the China Light, which gives us explosive damage 15%. This is really, really strong. Why? Because we have status effect and skill damage, which is perfect. We do not want skill haste on this build at all. Now you're probably wondering, oh, the Seeker Mine and the Explosive Jump have huge cooldowns, up to 40 seconds. I know, but this is where it gets interesting. So we have rolled Overwatch, which is perfect for this build. After staying in cover, because calculated the backpack talent, you need to be in cover. This works really, really good. So you can actually move cover to cover, and it still counts as being in cover, which is really nice. So after staying in cover for 10 seconds, increase you and your allies. Now, we don't really want to go for this. Now, you're probably thinking kinetic momentum. That doesn't increase our weapon damage, and I'm going to showcase why that does not work very well with expendable skills. Don't use that. But the next build I'm going to showcase will have that as well. So we get weapon damage and skill damage by 12%, which is a lot, as long as you're man in cover or in a cover-to-cover move. Now, this is really good because all that weapon damage, all that skill damage translates into calculated, which will give us our skills back very quickly. Kills from cover reduce skill damage by 10% every single kill with your pistol, with your main weapon, your primary, your secondary, your skills, grenades, everything. It works as long as you get a kill, which is really, really good. So I've gone for Fenris. Now, you can go for Wyvern for more skill damage. It's completely up to you. But I've gone for this because I want my AR to hit really hard. And this is a perfect backpack. Crit chance, weapon damage, and skill damage, which is really, really nice. Skill damage does increase the explosives, but explosive damage scales a bit better. So this is really, really good, guys. Honestly, I love the way this works, especially because with Negotiator's Dilemma, when you mark the NPCs, each one that dies, they all die at once from shooting one NPC. So 3 guys die at once and you get 30%. So your skills will be back constantly. It's really, really strong. You're spamming explosives left, right, and center. It's a really good combination and I do enjoy it very much. Statistics, this is where they shine. So we have got quite a lot. 170% crit damage when we have Negotiator's Dilemma stacked up, which is huge. That's a lot of damage considering we will be outputting just under 5 million a shot with a sticky bomb and about 2 million a shot with the seeker mines, and the explosive chap is like just over 3 million as well. Somewhere around there. It does a lot of damage. So we've got maxed out 60% crit chance, which is needed. Make sure you guys have this as close to 60 as possible, even if you go over by 1.2%, because it's important to get the marks on the NPCs. So very, very nice statistics. You can pause the video if you want to see the rest of the statistics. Let's go through the skills. Seeker Mines. So when we go into the Seeker Mines, avoid skill haste mods. Go damage, cluster mines, and damage. Once again, you don't have to use this. I like to use the sticky bomb a bit more than this. This is more for defensive playstyles. I don't have any modifications for this, so just try to put something with damage. I don't have any at all. But like I said, when you throw this down, you need to actually cancel it when you've got maybe 1 or 2 charges on the floor left, so that calculated can actually bring it back faster. That's the only tricky thing about it. Just give it a try and test it for yourself. So I'm going to showcase to you guys the second version of the build. Let's change it up now. Right, so let's go through the second loadout. Now there are, again, there's 2 ways you can actually run this build now. This is what I use in a team. Now, we're not going to be utilizing explosive, expendable skills that rely on calculated anymore. We're just going to be dishing out as much spread out damage as we can with Negotiator's Dilemma. That is why we have the backpack. So I've gone through pretty much everything else. We'll just go through the statistics and the skills and then just obviously the new pieces that we have added. So with the backpack now with Negotiators, it's going to be a bit better because we will get up to 100% damage. So obviously marked enemies only took 70% of the damage dealt. Now it has moved it, Negotiator's damage to additional marked enemies from 60% to 100. So it matches the damage that you are outputting. Now that is just under 500,000 a shot with this capacitor, with this build on, and the previous one before it. So we've got still high crit chance, high crit damage with Negotiator's Dilemma, spreading it around, which is very, very good. But the difference is now is we're not using the explosives, so we have got the 2 turrets, which means we can run kinetic momentum, because normally kinetic momentum doesn't work with expendables because you're going to be losing the buff too often. So I've gone for Wyvern. Now there's 2 choices to use with the chest pieces. Kinetic momentum is really, really good, and the Wyvern, I wanted to get a bit more skill damage from this. So we have got skill damage, status effect, and the 1 piece as well, which obviously is skill damage. Kinetic momentum. So when in combat, so you guys will see on the right hand side there'll be a snowball shooting to the right and a snowball kind of looking thing shooting to the left. So what happens is when they are fully stacked up, when both of them are stacked up, that indicates that your damage is full. So what happens is stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair, which we're not really worried about too much. If you want to use a healing hive or drone, that is completely up to you. This can work very well. So this is actually 30% skill damage, guys. A lot of people don't know this, but it's by 1% up to 15 times. That's 15% per skill. As it says, stacks per skill. So if the left hand, let's say the turret is on the left and the drone's at the right. If the left hand turret is, the ball jumping to the left, if that is fully maxed out, that is only 15% skill damage. Then once the drone cooldown comes back and we are in combat, if the right hand one increases. When they are both increased and fully, their bars are fully to the right, that means we are getting the 30% skill damage, which is a lot more than something like the previous chest piece talent that we were utilizing earlier. So I recommend using this with this build because I don't really play in cover too much when I'm playing, even with teammates. I like to be peeking in and out, dishing out lots of damage rather than just staying in cover, getting grenaded. You guys know what it's like. So you can utilize this. It's very good with this build. We have high amounts of skill damage. Now, with the holster, the waveform, make sure to use this. This is 30% skill damage and it alternates. It obviously lowers from the right and then increases to the left, vice versa, lowers from the left, increases to the right. So you're getting up to 30% skill damage from each side. It doesn't matter because we're using a drone and a turret, so we're utilizing that skill damage pretty much all of the time. We don't really lose out too much. If you are using, like I said, if you want to use a healing drone or a hive, you can, but you will be sacrificing half the damage from this holster, if you know what I mean. So this rolls skill damage and skill haste. Make sure to max it out as much as you can. It's very, very good, and I think it's one of the best skill damage exotics in the game. Very, very nice, especially in addition to the capacitor, 60% plus another 30%, which is really, really good. A lot of skill damage just from that alone. That's why I've gone for the way I've set it up now. Over 100% skill damage just from this. And we still have over 130% critical hit damage with the weapon, which is scary good. So the other chest piece that you can use if you want to give your teammates more damage, but you will be hitting a lot less, so it's completely up to you. I don't really like to play in cover when I'm playing with a team because they take the aggro away from me a lot of the time. Solo, this is very good in my opinion. I know it gives your teammates damage, so that's why I'm definitely saying this is a very, very good option. You can use Ferocious Calm, or you can just use Overwatch in general. Utilize it. It gives your teammates 12% skill damage and weapon damage, but it only, you have to be in cover for it to be activated. So the perfect variant is just decreased amount of time that it takes for it to proc, which is quite good. 8 seconds is very low. So I recommend using this if you want to give your teammates a buff. But if you want to use it like I've done it, go for that. Both chest pieces are very much viable. So let's look at the statistics right now, quickly. So 57.9, just under 58% crit chance, it's okay. 130% crit damage, very, very nice. You guys can pause the video once again if you want to look at this variant of the build. And then with the skills, we're using this beautiful turret, dishes out a lot of damage, just under 100,000 a shot. That's not including some of the other buffs. So, that's not including a capacitor stack at all. This will be over 150k a shot, somewhere around there. It's very, very strong in combination with waveform, waveform, the capacitor, and the chest piece talent, which is very good with kinetic momentum. So just put damage mods. You don't have to put duration or skill haste. That doesn't really do much for us because you can pick the turrets up again. The drone, maybe a bit of skill haste might help. It's not really necessary. Duration is probably the strongest. Armor repair doesn't work on this one. So just forget about that. I don't have the best. Oh wait, you see, this is the fixer drone. So the fixer drone, like I said before, you can use it. Sometimes I do because we get a lot of healing from kinetic momentum. So that's just a way of sustaining yourself. So if you want to use this healing drone, the fixer drone, go for it. But the striker drone is what I recommend using because 9 times out of 10 your teammates will take the aggro away. So just modify it with duration and skill damage or damage to the drone. That's probably the best way to do it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. How would you run this? Would you use Overwatch? Would you use kinetic momentum? I just wanted to give you a lot of options with the builds, and what I want you guys to take from this is I want to see in the comments, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I want to see different ideas. I love seeing you guys tell me in the comments what you like, what you prefer, what you think's better. But at the end of the day, nothing's really the best. It's all about how you play and how you can utilize your own play styles, how you can benefit your team the most. Because you could even say to yourself, well, I'd rather run a Wyvern holster and then a tardigrade chest piece. You can go for that and give your teammates armor. It's really, really up to you, and this is how I run it, and it's very, very potent the way I've done it here. Lots of skill damage, lots of crit, and I really do enjoy the playstyle. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll be seeing everyone in the next video. Peace out, guys.